Okay, cheers. Thanks, guys. So let me just give a bit of an overview of my experience. So before, in a previous life, I worked mostly in Silicon Valley companies, both in Ireland, I'm Irish, and then also in Japan. So I worked at Sun Microsystems as like a kernel hacker, and then in Google as a search engineer for about 10 years in Tokyo. So I got really interested in Web3 and decided to give up the dream to pursue Web3 world, which I often regret, but but it is what it is. Yeah, so like what we tried to do in Japan, like Web3 in Japan is kind of non-existent. Like there's not much adoption at all. They're very cautious, especially like if you mention anything about Web3, like everyone just thinks FTX. So it's like really hard to do business there. And that's actually why like I left Japan, because going abroad, coming to Europe, there's just much more opportunity to meet people who are like-minded, or like you would never get an audience even this size like in Tokyo, and like the city's like 40 million people, right? So it's just really hard to do business there. But there is like an interest in the culture and the crafts. So if you can explain people like that you're doing something with traditional art, like what we're doing here. So we partnered with, I think like the lesson is like, in a really difficult business situation, if you really want to do something, and if you really believe in Web3, like you're kind of stuck in some ways, but there's always ways to do it. So we partnered with some really old art like foundations, and we got like quite a lot of scans done of their really old historical art. So these are actually original prints of ancient Japanese art, and we were able to talk to them and say, hey, like this is like a great way to preserve heritage and preserve culture. And then they slowly got on board with it, and we could partner with them, and we could, create NFTs of this. We do traditional art, but we also do like modern art as well. And this was a way for us to gauge the environment, to gauge the market in Japan and in Asia. So while Japan was not so excited about it, actually Taiwan was very interested. So we made some partnerships with the Taiwanese government, and we're working with them now as well in their culture and heritage. But it's been a long process. Like we've been at this for nearly 2 years now to try to build it. So it's been something of a slog, but I think like it's doing something interesting and something cool, a bit different to what's usually you see when you come across NFTs, right? So our new project, what we're doing is we're working with temples and like shrines across Japan and Asia. So the concept is that we make a game and we 3D scan all of the temples, and we take the art, the precious art or artifacts there, and we're going to gamify everything. So it's about building a gamification project and then using our NFT marketplace as a way to trade and buy and sell game items. And one of the really cool ideas we have for it is that you will be able to only buy super rare NFTs if you actually travel to the temple in person. So you have to be like a tourist. And this was like another way to get like local government involved, because then we could like be like, oh, you're going to promote tourism, right? So then they become interested because they want people to go to the local areas. They want people to travel to off the beaten track and to, spend your dollars basically, or euros when you get there to promote the local economy. So our new project, I'll just throw up a video of it, is going to be called MetaGami. And we've actually been recently in Dubai, and the UAE government also, like we're really interested in the concept. So we've been in Taiwan, we've partnered with the local government there, and in Japan also local governments around Japan, to do aerial photography and like video. And then we're using gaming technology like reality capture and other software to create more realistic 3D experiences. And this, in UAE, like they're really interested in building like a metaverse type of experience. But for us, it's all about gaming. We want to gamify it to make the culture and heritage more exciting. So we've been really pitching this hard, and we're making some progress. We're in development of the game engine at the moment. It's going to be released next year, early next year, hopefully, the beta version. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but we think it can be pretty cool to, try to use Web3 for something a bit different to promote the culture and heritage around the world. So that's basically what I got, and I'm happy to take questions.
So, who wants to get started? Yeah. Can you pass him? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. It was pretty interesting. I was wondering how you make sure that the only people who visited the place can buy the items or NFT. Would you give a proof, pop or something to the visitors to make sure that they can buy?
Yeah, so the way it works is like in Japan or in Asia, like it's very common to buy a talisman, like a talisman. It's like, you know, some type of small memory of the place. It could be like, they're often like small little packets, and they're supposed to represent God. So what we'll do is include like a QR code with that. And then like if you scan the QR code, it opens up like a secret link that you can mint the NFT at, basically. I'm not sure if that answers your question or not, though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, okay,
Thank you.
cool.
Hello, thank you for the speaking. It has been really interesting. And I wonder, I mean, you moved to Europe to make business, but this business looked like quite good in the sense that it looks super interesting. So what are like the next plans in Europe, in the sense that are you planning, for example, do something similar in Spain?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. The problem with Europe is like the regulation is really difficult. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, if there is an opportunity in Europe to do something like that, like it would be great, but it's really hard to, it's just slower here, everything, you know. Japan is also slow, but like the rest of Asia is very active. And like UAE, like when we went to UAE recently, like they were really interested in this. They wanted to do it. Like they just like, can you come to UAE and we'll build it like together? Like, so like, it was like one day discussion. They just decide they want to do it. But like that very rare, I feel, to happen in Europe. Things move very slow here, and it's highly regulated. But if we can do something, yeah, like totally, we'd love to do it.
Because, for example, this reminded me to, for example, here in Catalonia, in this region of Spain, the local government, it's very prone to do this kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
So this is something like maybe you are already in talks with the local government here.
No, but like
it's something
if you can hook us up, like
well, I don't know no one, but I think that they are like very pro-culture and pro-defending the heritage, and they are also very pro-internet.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because there's so much culture in Europe. But yeah, if there is connections, we'd love to talk to them. Like we have a demo now, we can show them and stuff. So, yeah.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go with the back.
All right, a bit of clarification from my end. In the end, kind of what you're trying to achieve is also have a more a game in the end. It's not just kind of attracting visitors to a specific sites, but like really build a game with the specific NFTs that you can collect offline.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Zelda-style game, actually, we're building.
All right, very cool. And that's going to be released when?
Well, next year, early. Like the beta will be released early next year.
Okay, thanks.
What graphical engine will the game engine use?
We're actually making our own one, so that's interesting because you were talking about game engine. So we're building it on 3JS. So it's all JavaScript browser-based.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
And just to follow up on that, like the browser is getting really powerful now, and like there's new developments in Web GPU, or like the browsers are supporting it now. So you can do really cool stuff in the browser that was not possible like even last year.
Hi, Goodspit. I have a question. In your opinion, what are the challenges for adoption, Web3 adoption here in Spain? Because you talk about Japan, and maybe we can imagine that Japan, is a very a big country with a lot of technology, But what are the challenges here in Spain, in your opinion?
I think it's like got to do with like using tokens, right? And whether you can like issue tokens or not. Like in Japan, it's if you can't issue ERC20 tokens, but NFTs are fine. So that's why we actually started with NFTs. But we're talking to the government there about being able to issue tokens too. I just think in like the MiCA regulations and all that in the EU are just really complicated, and like it's the barriers just seem to get higher and higher for entry. And I just feel like it's kind of sad to say it, but I just feel like they're not interested in fostering a Web3 community or at all, like in Europe. Like the EU is not. Like individual states might want to do it, but like in the end of the day, you're going to have more severe regulation. And like you can see it even with the new reports that came out recently. Like, I mean, from the EU, I don't know if you read it, but like there was one like where they're like kind of saying like Bitcoin's going to be a problem and like we should regulate it out of existence, right? So like with that kind of like mindset, like I don't have much hope. You know, I mean, like anyone doing Web3, founding a Web3 company, I just advise them to leave Europe. Like, yeah, I mean, it's sad to say it, like, because I'm a European, like, but like they should just, like, yeah, like I said, like Saudi Arabia, like now, is so active, like it's super active, like they're looking for people. And it sounds crazy maybe for us because we think of it being really restrictive regimes and that, but they're way more pro-business than we are.
I mean, the biggest export from Europe is regulation.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's quite a few countries that actually try, like Portugal, Gibraltar.
Totally, they want to. I agree with you, but I think the problem is that the EU is kind of like, you know, going to overrule them.
Well, like if you go in the US, it's like a lot of founders had to leave.
Yeah, that's true as well.
It's not really much better, is it?
No, but like UAE or Saudi or these other places could be better.
So you want to leave in the Middle East because you want to launch a coin, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kinda sucks.
Well, it's pretty nice. I mean, yeah. It's
I
not.
lived in the Middle East, and I think the lifestyle here is 100 times better.
Yeah, you know, I agree. Like, here's a nice place to live. Like, so you can spend half your time here, maybe half your time there, something like that.
I mean, you don't really to the Middle East because of tax on cryptos and stuff, right? And ultimately, most of the people that live in the Middle East who work in Web3 all filthy rich because they didn't want to pay tax on crypto. So that's why they've left Europe or the US, basically.
Yeah.
So what about Korea? I don't know. It's like
Korea is like also super like engaged in crypto, and they're much more proactive, you know. Like it kind of happened in Japan as well. We talked to the JFSA, which is like the SEC in Japan, and they told us like, yeah, you can't launch tokens, but like if you do it, like we won't sue you, like we won't stop you. You know, like it's kind of illegal, but like we won't chase you about it. So like they're a bit more pro. They know they're behind him, like they're a bit more proactive, not trying to stop you from doing stuff, you know.
I mean, they have the Terra trauma.
Which one?
Terra.
Oh yeah, in South Korea, right? Yeah.
Korea, yeah. They have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, but they're really advanced, I think, in Korea in general, and yeah. Anyway, cheers, guys. Thanks.